My guest today is Jaz Ampaw-Farr. She is a resilience ninja, an international speaker, coach, and author. Hailed in the US as the British Oprah, Jaz has traveled the world advising governments, educators, and helping tens of thousands of people with a bespoke leadership development programs, training courses, and motivational speeches. As a successful entrepreneur, mum of three, and former teacher, she knows a thing or two about galvanizing people into taking action. With a passion for resilience, positive disruption, and a human first approach to everything, Jaz's energy is infectious, and you can't help but become mesmerised and fall under her captivating spell. So, welcome to the show, Jaz. Lovely to have you here with us today. How are you doing?
My standard reply is I was born brilliant and I have continued in that vein. So I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
We will have a discussion about your brilliance and all of that afterwards, but because the show is called Unbroken, I
Yes.
always start with the first question, which is what does that word unbroken mean to you?
Well, it means unbreakable. That's what it means. I've got a t-shirt with that on. I have sort of jazzisms on
I
t-shirts.
might have to get one.
Resilience ninja, positive disruptor, unbreakable. Because it's broken is a state and unbroken is where that state is changed and removed. And this idea of being broken and unbroken and broken and fixed and broken, I kind of feel like being outside that unbreakable means that I will bend, I will be on the floor, but the time between me being on the floor and getting back up again will get shorter and shorter and shorter. And that is the resilience part of it for me. It's not removing the idea of being in pieces, it's being able to reform in a way that enables you to go forward with a new story or the next story. So I kind of feel like part of the unbroken is really unbreakable, and part of being unbreakable is being able to reform and reframe and pivot and go again. It's knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. That's what
Oh,
unbroken is.
I like that. Knowing what to do when you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people got stuck. But life, you didn't start off with this positive bouncing back attitude. Life was
No, good
tough when you
gravy.
were a little girl, wasn't it? You were put into care just at 8 years old, homeless as a teenager. Can you tell
Mm.
us a little bit about that, those times?
Yeah, well, I was born in the 70s when it wasn't trendy to have a little brown baby. And my biological mum didn't know she was pregnant, so was rushed to the hospital for appendicitis. I came. There was lots of contention among the family, as you can imagine. And my mum wasn't really interested in being a mum, so I lived with my grandparents.
Mhm.
And I think she must have. My granddad died. Was two of us, me and my brother, and then my mum was pregnant again. So my nan must have said, "You've got to get married," and she married a violent drunk when I was 6, and we were beaten within an inch of our lives. I was sexually abused from 6 till 11 when I ran away. When I did run away, I was broken. I was defeated, and I was actually rescued by a pimp. I met a pimp outside a pub, and he took me in to take care of me. And I remember he took me shopping, and I'm 11 years old, standing in this changing room holding a dress, and I know I'm not safe, but I don't have the word sexual exploitation. I'm trying to make a connection with someone in the dressing room, like, are you kind? Can you help?
Mhm.
I don't know what to do. And in that moment, I remember one of my first leaders, a teacher, Mrs. Cook. She always used to say I was brave. And in that moment, one clear thought came to mind, and that is Mrs. Cook wouldn't wear this outfit because it wasn't a dress, it was lingerie.
Mhm.
And that was enough. I became what she said I always was. And I just walked out of the changing room, walked past Jason. He was leaning on some bras, rolling a joint. That you don't get escapees at that stage. So he wasn't looking for me. Went into the police station, and I did what I thought adults did in police stations. I slammed my hands on the counter and I said, I demand the right to remain silent. Because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. And I remember the guy going, all right. And that was, we'd been in foster care already for physical marks. We were beaten and we were neglected. That was evident to see. But I'd never spoken about the sexual abuse because I assumed that was my fault because I'm broken and I'm worthless and I'm cheap and I'm guilty. So I came from a place of being in pieces.
You really give them a new map, don't you, with a whole new direction. It's possible.
That's good. A new map. Yes, it's like an alternative route that you cannot see because everybody in your position makes the same decision. Like 3% of children in foster care get to university. They don't stay there, they don't finish because it's impossible when you get. I'd know it. That's why I was homeless at uni. I had nowhere to go in the holidays.
Mhm.
But 3%, and these people, children end up in foster care, they're there not through their own volition.
No.
Anything could have happened. So we're losing talent, we're losing creativity because we're not finding a way through. That's why my Young Speaker Academy is about people who've gone through adversity, children who've been in foster care, gone through adversity, and have lived to tell the tale, so that other people know there is a next. That's what's important.
So you're passionate now, not just speaking out yourself, but also helping others to find their voice as well.
Yes. Well, I'm really big on speakers in general. Like I go to conferences, I'm often the only woman, I'm often the only brown woman. I've lost count of how many conferences. I stand at the door when people are coming in and I chat and I welcome people. I've lost count of how many men have given me their coats because they've been so I take the coat, I take it, and then I take it on stage and I say, I'm just going to look after this. Is it yours, John? Is it yours? I'm take care of it for you. You don't even have to pay me £2. But it's because I'm happy to meet people where they are. Birthday, and there was the Speaker Awards was on, and I'm like, no, it's my birthday. If I haven't won anything, I don't really want to go. But then I spoke to my family, my team, my friends. I'm like, let's just all go. It's if we don't win, we can enjoy the food. And the first thing I get is runner-up, highly commended for best.
So you have no idea you're even nominated?
No, I was nominated in 2 categories.
Okay.
But my internal imposter said, well, I don't know what you're even coming for. But I went, in spite of all the evidence and data of fantastic reviews that I get all the time, you've still got that voice, haven't you? So I get the highly commended, and I sit down and say to my ops manager, is this still count as an award? And she's like, yes, you won something, you won. Because I want to put award winning on LinkedIn. I want to put that on. And then they announced best live gig, and they announced the highly commenders, and I'm not in that. My name doesn't come up, and I'm like, oh, all right, but I know what to do next year. And then my name's not in highly commended because I've won it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. And then I sit down, and everyone's sort of celebrating, and I'm hugging my daughter. And then they announce Speaker of the Year, which they've collected from all the scores that everyone got across the board, highly commended in all the areas. And I hear this speaker was highly commended in all the areas. And I think it was someone else. Leanna was a speaker who kept winning highly commended and going into that. And then they called my name, and there's a beautiful picture on social media of everyone around me screaming, and me just...
The disbelief.
It wasn't even disbelief. It was this moment of like, from foster care to Speaker of the Year. It was, I cannot believe that this has been the impossible made possible. Yeah. And I just sat in that for a moment of the enormity of the journey of a broken kid locked in a cellar, in foster care, abused, on the streets, homeless, hungry, to this. And it's just like, I have to tell people this is possible. That is why I speak. And it was this glorious moment of like that. And I got the award, and I came back and I said, well, I must be a good speaker. I mean, I must be. And it was like turning the volume down on imposter syndrome.
Yeah, so I was going to say, there's still that doubt, even though you are supremely confident, or you come across that, there's still that doubt that you can tune into, but then you choose to turn it down. You turn down the volume.
It's because you've got, it's a moment in time, isn't it? Like, you're a great footballer when you score a goal, but 10 minutes later, not necessarily. So it's how do I stay in that truth of, I am able to take a crowd from, laughing to crying and back again in 2 sentences. They laugh, cry, and leave on a high. That's true. I know how to connect with people. I can craft a story. I have an important message that people take action after. They don't just get inspired. They do. That's true. But also it's believing that is something that I have worked for and crafted, and is now the truth about me. And my old story of being cheap and worthless and guilty and dirty, that is a story that no longer serves me anymore, and is not the truth about me.